Hello. Today, I, Kellie, and Meadow will be addressing the question, what is the effect of advanced programs on teacher distribution and quality of education? Our topic was inspired by our mentee, Naoroz Mahmood, who is unable to complete the project due to personal reasons. First, we will explain the advanced programs that we will be referring to in the rest of the presentation. These include gifted, AP, and IB programs. Gifted programs cater to students with gifts and talents that have the ability to perform at higher levels compared to others of the same age, experience, and environment in one or more domains. These programs are most often found in elementary and middle school programs before students even reach high school. AP stands for Advanced Placement, and students can choose to participate in a variety of ways. While some students may choose to take one AP course, others may take many more. Participating in AP classes allows students to tackle college-level coursework in high school, and students who perform at high enough levels on their AP exams have the opportunity to earn college credit and placement for certain courses. The IB, or International Baccalaureate program, has 4 levels, but we will be focusing on the diploma program for students ages 16 to 19 in this presentation. A combination of college-level coursework, volunteering activities in the community, also known as CAS, and breadth requirements. The IB program aims to develop students with an excellent breadth and depth of knowledge, preparing them for university. Students can also combine these programs, for example, taking an IB course load with AP classes as well. These programs are very beneficial to the students that participate in them. However, there is a large socioeconomic status gap in these advanced programs that highlight inequity present in the world of education. This chart presents the percentage of low-income students in the IB diploma program over a period of 6 years. In 2014, less than 25% of IB candidates came from low SES students. The U.S. Department has reported that Black students make up only 9.8% of the students in gifted programming, even though they make up 16.7% of the total U.S. student population. According to the Early Childhood Longitudinal Study conducted by the National Center for Education Statistics, for children in kindergarten to 5th grade, students in the highest SES quintile, or the top 20%, were 7 times more likely to receive gifted services than students in the lowest SES quintile, or the bottom 20%. Even in the same school with similar skill levels of reading and math, students in the highest SES quintile were twice as likely to receive gifted services as students in the lowest SES quintile. So there's clearly a correlation here. With closer examination, we have found that this correlation between SES and academic performance is created right at the beginning of education, even kindergarten. Before children are even tested for gifted programs, there are large disparities that go along with socioeconomic status, as shown in this chart. There is even a very clear gap in the approaches to learning by teachers, as can be seen right here. Social class may be the largest predictor of individual educational success, according to the research. With this background information, we will now assess the effect of advanced programs on teacher distribution and quality of education before high school. Poorer districts often cut electives and gifted programs out of necessity. Schools with more money also have more up-to-date equipment, including smartboards and individual laptops for students called Chromebooks, as well as teachers, helpers, and volunteers, which often come in the form of parents. Schools with more money also have access to more guidance counselors that can help misbehaving students, rather than simply suspending them. Teachers often end up leaving poorer schools for richer schools, leaving the poorer schools scrambling to find high-quality teachers or any teachers at all. One teacher from New Britain, Connecticut, revealed that she left a poorer district for a richer district out of frustration. She was not alone in this. Many other teachers from this district did the same thing, leaving the students in the poorer district with many more substitute teachers. The students in the poorer district also had less time to spend on computer projects due to the fact that they had to share computers rather than having their own individual laptops. And suspensions occurred more frequently in the poorer district than in the richer district. The question then becomes, how can schools retain teachers to level out the playing field in terms of teacher distribution and quality of education? Teachers want to make as big of an impact on their students as they possibly can. And smaller, more specialized groups, such as gifted programs, allow for this. It is difficult to teach students of different levels together in one setting. Students who know more coming into the class may find themselves getting bored and losing interest, which is bad for their education, while other students that don't know as much coming into the class may struggle to keep up, which is also bad for their education. It may seem as though splitting children up based on their skill level is an easy solution to this problem. Separating small groups of gifted children from the rest of the class allows the teacher to get to know these students better. A smaller teacher-to-student ratio leads to more specialized learning and is more rewarding for the students and the teacher. Teachers are known to enjoy these gifted programs. But this also furthers inequity, as can be shown by the large correlation between SES and students in gifted and other advanced programs. The separation of children into groups of gifted, regular, and remedial groups may have negative effects on everyone involved.
Hi, my name is Meadow, and my part of the presentation is on the effect of IB and AP programs on teacher distribution and quality in high school. So the first slide I have here is on IB in high schools, and a majority of the information on this slide comes from a paper done called Who Gets the Best Teachers, and it looks at the incorporation of the IB program into both public and private high schools in Ecuador, and it analyzes its impact on the teacher labor market. The information found in this paper can be generalized to how IB impacts schools all over the globe. And also, every time I mention IB, that information can also be generalized to all advanced programs in high school. So the first point of the paper that it talks about is that IB schools attract the best English-speaking teachers by paying higher salaries. This shows how IB fosters teacher mobility. Schools do this by having school administrators steal qualified teachers from each other. Some teachers end up leaving in the middle of the school year because of this. And besides higher wages, schools also propose extra pay for those teaching the IB program, and merit or performance pay are also proposed to retain highly qualified teachers. And an example here by Jeffco Public Schools shows the difference in salaries in the United States. High school teacher median salary is around $50,000, and the IB high school teacher salary is $67,000 to $70,000, which I know would make a big impact on my decision to switch schools if I needed the money. The next point the paper makes is that low and middle fee schools teaching the IB or entering the IB have to get teachers from a very limited selection and quality and English-speaking teachers, and as a result, they have to hire non-certified teachers, which affects the quality of education. This information shows a problem, as not only does it show that even if all schools, public and private, obtain the IB program, there will still be teacher mobility towards schools that have the most salary to offer, but it also shows that the reason public schools and lower SES schools have a teacher shortage is because of this teacher distribution that is happening. When a teacher leaves lower SES schools or schools with less opportunities, it forces these schools with no advanced programs to begin to scramble and look for teachers with less or no experience, or even non-certified teachers, which can affect the quality of education, as quality is no longer a priority, as they simply just are looking for teachers because they need teachers. So the next slide talks about efforts to obtain teachers made by schools in Ecuador. It basically shows the effort schools are going through to obtain IB teachers and reasons for mobility, and can be generalized for everywhere that is looking to obtain teachers. Private schools in Ecuador use performance-based pay and extra pay for teaching IB courses. Under a merit or performance-based system, teachers are monetarily rewarded if their students attain some level of academic achievement. Hence, under a merit pay system, high-performing teachers would see gains in their income over time, while low-performing teachers would see reductions in their real income. This would explain why some teachers leave public schools for private or gifted programs if they use performance-based pay, as they're expecting better performance from these more intelligent students. Public schools simply used raised salaries as an incentive, which in itself is a compelling reason for teachers to leave schools. However, in a study done in India, it was found that private schools get significantly better academic results when they relate pay to achievement, as government schools do not, they just use salary. An explanation for this is the efficiency wage hypothesis, as it says there must be fear of losing a well-paid job in order for higher wages to elicit higher effort. Therefore, the IB teachers get extra pay for their demanding job, and they get extra pay on top of that if their students do well. This can explain why the teachers would move to a gifted program or advanced program to teach there, as they would get paid more, as they already assume that their students are smart and are already going to perform well. This shows that the students get a better quality of teaching while also obtaining the best teachers. Looking at this information overall, understanding how IB changes the labor market and quality of education can be seen. Schools have to adjust their salaries and incentives offered to try and obtain IB teachers. And teachers are going to want to move to schools that give them the biggest opportunity to teach students who have the most promise for better performance, especially in a school where they use performance-based pay. They will also choose schools that offer the largest salary. The next slide here shows incentives schools are using to obtain teachers for IB and AP courses. The first is that more opportunities for success and more resources are offered at these gifted advanced programs. And some of these reasons and resources could be what Kellie mentioned earlier, such as having smartboards and having laptops for all students, because it makes teaching easier. You become a teacher because you want to make a change. When you teach students in a gifted program, you already assume they are smarter than other students in non-AP IB courses. Therefore, you start to feel it is easier to teach them and have success as a teacher as you equate their good test scores to your teaching. The next reason and incentive is salary increase. In a study done by the National Bureau of Economic Research, they also found that a 10% salary increase for teachers would reduce exits by 3%. Which shows, again, why salary increases are such a big factor in teacher mobility to advanced programs. The next one is not really an incentive, but it's a reason that teachers would want to choose the advanced programs, is that teachers prefer to teach students of their same ethnicity or race. A study on why public schools lose teachers found that that white teachers prefer to teach white students. This may explain another reason why teachers move from schools in lower SES areas, as the proportion of minorities in AP IB classes to non-minorities in AP IB classes is small compared to the amount of minorities present in public schools without IB programs, or even the students not in IB programs or advanced programs. And this can explain teacher shortages, as there are less minority teachers, meaning there are less teachers to teach at public schools when all of these teachers end up leaving. The next reason is that there is more class variety and options for students and teachers, and this leads to more flexibility for teachers. And here you can see just a small example of all of the options IB and AP courses offer. And the opportunity to teach more classes gives more incentive for teachers to leave schools for the IB program. It gives more freedom, as they get to teach multiple different subjects during the day rather than teaching the same subject all day. They can also teach courses that are more specific in interest, such as if they're very passionate about teaching psychology, they get to have that option to teach it. And not only that, but the students will get a better quality of education because their teachers are enjoying what they're teaching. Also, they have more free reign in what they teach and how they teach it. The English teachers get to choose what books they want to read to their students. And that also improves the quality of education, as again, the teachers are more intrigued and involved in what they're teaching. And in conclusion, advanced programs before high school create an unlevel playing field for later educational opportunities, this correlating strongly with socioeconomic status. Also, advanced programs have an impact on teacher distribution and quality of education in high school. It does so by causing highly qualified teachers to move from public schools or ordinary programs for advanced programs. This leaves teacher shortages in normal public schools and causes other schools to scramble to find teachers with less experience, with less screening, meaning the quality of education is not being a priority. Increased pay, pay based on performance, more flexibility and opportunities are reasons why teacher mobility is happening, among many other reasons. So what is the solution? What can be done? A news article by NBC News did analyze this. And one thing they mentioned is that getting rid of gifted programs for high school should happen, as they seem to worsen inequality. By getting rid of these gifted programs before high school, the students will be on a more level playing field when going into high school. Therefore, students from lower SES elementary schools and backgrounds will not be as intimidated to go into more challenging courses in high school. And this leads to the next point. As advanced classes and programs should be offered to everyone in high school as an option. And this is important because by offering it in high school as a choice for certain subjects instead of as a requirement, you will therefore increase the equality in the choices. For example, in the IB program, you are required to take all IB courses if you're an IB candidate and want to get the diploma. And this is a problem because it can be very mentally stressful on the students. But by making it a choice, this means that not all students have to take it, and only those interested in the advanced programs can take it. And it will avoid creating a caste system by assigning students to remedial, average, or advanced classes before they've had a chance to develop their academic potential. They will, in turn, affect the teacher distribution, as there will not be as much of a stigma on lower SES schools, and in high school, students will have a more level playing field when applying for these classes. And the last thing is to encourage lower SES students to take on advanced programs. IB was made in the United States to target Title I schools, which are schools that provide federal funding to assist students who are low achieving or at most risk of falling behind. However, since it is seen as such a prestigious program, more privileged students move to these Title I schools by the No Child Left Behind Act. And this causes students from lower SES programs and backgrounds to be afraid of joining the program, as they are the minority once again, and they are intimidated because they already assume that these students from higher SES backgrounds are smarter than they are, and they feel they won't make it. By making these changes and increasing the amount of minorities in advanced programs and getting rid of advanced programs before high school, there will be less reason for teacher mobility. It would decrease the competition between schools and allow teachers to get rid of the mindset that it's better to teach students in their own race or ethnicity, or students who are smarter, especially in places where it's performance-based pay, as all schools will be on a more level playing field, and teachers will again be able to choose schools based on preference, and the quality of education will again be the priority. And the next slide is the works cited page, and thank you so much for listening.